We got this guy asking, how would I introduce the show to a newbie? You want the elevator pitch? Okay, fine. Here's the elevator pitch. I freaking bam, and I swing my Captain America shield and I hit out the cables of the elevator and I grab you by your shoulders, and I'm like, it's kind of like a mix between Succession and Breaking Bad and Steven Universe and Adventure Time and regular show, and it's also like got sort of elements of Craig of the Creek in there. Italo Calvino's If on a Winter's Night a Traveler, the surrealist Italian classic. Lights are flickering and the sparks are flying, and you're like, oh, oh. That's how I would introduce the show. Elevator pitch. Hey guys, my name is Aiden. I make this cartoon called Dino Monkey Cloud with my friends. And I said I was going to do a Q&A. So here I go doing it. You're probably wondering, and I'm here to put that to an end. Let's get to it. No time to dilly-dally. First up, we got this hugely important question from Quiddlefish. Who would the three play in Smash Bros? Really great question. Dino, villager, and he would like plant trees, and then he would never ever chop the tree down. He would just like pursue his opponent with the axe. And then Monkey would not play Diddy Kong, and he would be offended if you assumed that about him. He would main like Roy and Little Mac. And then Cloud would play Zero Suit Samus and Palutena, for sure. Great question. Next question. Flynnmeister says, "Hey dudes, hold on one second. Hey Owen, Flynnmeister says hi."
Hello, Flynnmeister!
Thank you.
Hi, Flynnmeister.
Okay, Flynnmeister says, "Hey dudes, what inspired you to create such a unique cast of characters, Dino Monkey and Cloud? They bounce off of each other so well in writing and look striking in their own way." Thank you. Probably gonna stop reading the part of these questions that is like a compliment, but I really appreciate it. Yeah, I first moved in with my two friends, Bo and Owen, like 3 years ago, and I drew this picture of us. Well, I drew a picture of me and then kind of Owen, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make Bo a big dinosaur in the background. I think that was because I was like, Bo loves Godzilla. I'm just gonna make Bo into Godzilla for this this illustration for some reason. But then I really liked it, and I kept like workshopping the dinosaur character and the Cloud character, and eventually like wound up with this sort of like, I don't know, a situation where I sort of had like harvested the souls of my roommates and crammed them into these sort of like classic cartoon archetype characters. And then I, at some point was like, I'm just gonna make myself into a monkey. Let's go more in depth. We'll go more in depth with each character. Let's start with Dino. Let's go in the name, in the order of the name of the cartoon. We got this one guy, Angry Flamingos, asking if Dino is any specific species of dinosaur. Yes. Great question. He is a sauropod on his mom's side, probably specifically like a brachiosaurus, if we're being like scientific. And then if we're being way more specific, he was inspired by the 1914 Winsor McCay classic, Gertie the Dinosaur, in addition to the 1954 classic Godzilla, and then also like the 1964 classic Beanie and Cecil by Bob Clampett. I recognize that Gertie the Dinosaur is maybe not like the most pop culture relevant figure, but I think Beanie and Cecil is like way more like what. It's a very strange cartoon that my dad showed me and my brothers when we were kids, and it's like, I don't know, it's a really like, originally this character Cecil was like a sea serpent that was a sock puppet, and then like they made a cartoon, but like you can still see the like folds of the fabric in the cartoon, which I think is so like, it's so weird to imply that the sea serpent is still made of fabric, and I thought that was really funny even like as a kid. Yeah, I wanted Dino to have like the possibility to be like very Muppety and like cute and endearing, like a little sock puppet, and then also to have the ability to like slide to the complete opposite end of the spectrum and be like, you know, natural disaster, like city destroying force of nature kaiju, and then like having my friend Bo play him, because Bo is like the kindest, sweetest man. Let's talk about Monkey. I played Monkey. A lot of people see the resemblance to Sun Wukong from the 17th century classic Journey to the West. I have not read Journey to the West. I would like to. Have all of you guys read Journey to the West? I feel like so many people are like standing for Sun Wukong as if they've like read the original text. I would like to, but it feels like it's probably really hard to read, and it would benefit if I spoke Mandarin or Cantonese. I don't know what language it was even written in. You guys mess with Hanuman at all? You guys of the Ramayana, the monkey god from Hinduism? I'm a big Hanuman guy myself. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Sun Wukong is like pervasive enough that he has made it into a lot of shonen anime. Like people have seen the Luffy comparisons. They share the same name, and then also Son Goku, of course. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to. I wanted to do like a classic, like scrappy anime protagonist type character from Monkey. I think he juxtaposes well with Dino, and then also with Cloud. Let's talk about Cloud now. My friend Owen plays Cloud. A lot of people recognize the influence of Bone, Jeff Smith's Bone, which is like, yeah, it's really undeniable. I basically ripped that off. I didn't like initially draw Cloud trying to like steal Phone Bone's design, but it like, you know, there's no way that wasn't subconsciously what I was doing. Me and my brothers all read Bone really early on. I really love like having these like really goofy and sweet cartoon characters thrust into like a dark and like progressively darker fantasy conflict and like environment. I think it's so fun and interesting, and I think that, you know, Jeff Smith basically just made like a very quintessential classic cartoon character for that purpose, and it's amazing. It's so good. You know, it's a good way to talk about. Let's do this question really quick. If each of them could choose between world peace or world domination, which would they choose? Such a good question. And this person in the replies actually kind of crushed it. I think Dino would say peace, Monkey would say domination, and I could see Cloud going either way. Snaps for that. Yeah, absolutely. At some point, Owen suggested the like Triforce of Dino Monkey Cloud was Dino is like compassion, Monkey is ambition, and Cloud is curiosity. Monkey definitely is like power hungry, whereas Dino is like actively shirking responsibility. Not responsibility, but like he has had like power thrust on him by birth and is choosing to like completely avoid it. And then Cloud, I think Cloud is like living in like a Charlie Chaplin Looney Tunes cartoon world, and like through an absurd sequence of events could find himself like in the Oval Office and then, I don't know, like just give up the power when he gets bored. Owen also said he thinks that Cloud would like grab the power, take the power, and then rule as like a monstrous tyrannical figure for a month, and then fake his own assassination in order to ensure that the pendulum swings in the opposite direction, and like there's like an era of great prosperity and peace, which I thought was a really fun answer as well. Those are the three characters. What a fun question. Wow. Let's move on. Let's talk about the process. I have a lot of people asking about a lot of different parts of the process, so I'm just going to talk about like, you know, the part that I think is interesting and try and answer all these questions. The like short answer to like, what's your process? It's a mess. It's really quite jank, guys. I'm just going to talk about Schnozdor as an example for the process. I came up with the idea for the short, just trying to think of like ways to spotlight the characters and how they handle like problem solving. And I wanted to do like a classic like, ooh, 3 riddles thing. Monkey does not mess with riddles. He's not that kind of a guy, but he is really goal oriented. So he'll just like try and find the way to cut through the thing as fast as possible, which I mean in this instance took like 12 hours, but whatever. And then yeah, Dino and Cloud both could easily like bypass this barrier, but Cloud really likes games, and he likes like he just wouldn't turn down a challenge. And then Dino is very polite. So I had that idea, and then I drew a couple things on printer paper. I pretty much draw everything on printer paper because anything nicer or like in a sketchbook, it like stresses me out to like try and maintain quality. So I feel like I do my best work when I'm like, there are 0 stakes. I, at some point, decided I want the bridge troll to be the actual bridge. I thought that would be funny. And I like workshopped this design until I got like a mole character with a game show buzzer on his face. I thought that was kind of cute. It's like a big like X, like you shall not pass, and also a game show buzzer. You get it. Usually my boarding process takes like, I think with this short, it took like 2 days for me to board it initially. And usually when I finish a board, I'll like just immediately show it to my friends. I have a lot of really talented storyboard friends or just animation friends generally. After I've finished the board, I write something that kind of vaguely resembles a script, but not really. I have like a couple ideas in my mind usually for like lines that I think my friends could deliver. And then once I have enough that I can kind of piece together the plot, I'll I'll freaking throw my roommates into a closet and I'll be like, let's record the cartoon, you guys. And it takes like, sometimes it takes like 4 hours to like get it so that the lines feel natural, and we'll usually like retool and rewrite the script in real time. Usually what you do is you'd have like, you know, someone give 3 different line reads for each line. But we usually prefer to like have a chunk of dialogue that we'll just like run through a million times until the timing is really tight. Ever since I was a wee lad, I've been told, Aiden, the most important thing in a cartoon isn't the concept, it's the chemistry between your main characters. And I was like, okay, heard, yeah, I'm on it. And then I internalized that, and now I'm making this cartoon, and really my main priority is just like getting across this like relationship between these 3 characters. I want so badly for it to feel like they're really genuinely friends, and I want to be in the company of one another. So yeah, that's kind of how that generally works. I finish the board and I get the radio play and I do the character acting to the radio play, and it's a whole freaking kit and caboodle. We got this guy, Mellow Tan, asking about the world building. Curious if you have had the vibe planned out for a while, or if it's comprised of stuff on the fly you think is cool while brainstorming episodes. It's definitely, I think that the world is pretty well developed in my head, but there wasn't really like a conscious like decision. I think that the cartoon I'm making right now is almost like an inevitability. It doesn't feel like there's been that many decisions that I've made. I'm really inspired by, you know what, actually, hold on. Another question kind of hit this on the head. We got Razv asking how I would describe the world of the show. It gives a mix of fantasy and post-apocalypse. That's very well put. Great question, and also you basically answered it. I want it to feel like this world is like very old. I want it to feel like there has been like a lot of different cycles in it. I'm really interested in like ruins and like this idea of environmental storytelling. So I want there to be like, you know, like wizard towers that have like crumbled and fallen into the sea, and I also want there to be convenience stores that have had like kudzu consume them and like ivy. Maybe that's helpful in terms of like genuine like references and inspiration. Me and my brothers are a really big fan of the Wizard of Earthsea books. I've read the first 3 of them by Ursula Le Guin. And then like aesthetically, I'm probably gonna steal shit from Mobius at some point. So look out for incoming Mobius plagiarism. Yeah, you know what? While we're talking about inspiration, let's just go and talk about all the other inspirations and influences and whatnot. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are just like, what are your main inspirations, animation, story-wise, in terms of comedy? I'm kind of hesitant to just like straight up compare DMC to anything like pre-existing or anything that I'm a fan of, because it's like, it feels like pretty unearned. Like generally, when someone is pitching their show and they're like, it's like a mix of Breaking Bad and and The Sopranos. I'm like, okay, like, sure, we could just point to like the two most highly acclaimed things in our medium and say that that's what we're gonna do. It may be a little bit of stolen valor, but that being said, here I go doing that. If I were being a little bit reductive, I would say I am inspired by the world of Ooh in Adventure Time, and then I'm inspired by, probably like the naturalistic dialogue of Smiling Friends. A lot of adult animation has done naturalistic dialogue before, but I also think that it's like in animation, it's almost always the case that naturalistic dialogue is like really only a thing that is leveraged for comedic purposes, and I kind of want to have it be the case that eventually when we do stuff with like drama and stakes and all that, there's like that naturalistic element, the relationship between the characters feels so genuine that it would, I think, elevate the drama. And yeah, on that same note, I would love to have eventually an overarching story with recurring allies and factions and villains in a similar vein to like Steven Universe or Avatar. This is what I mean. Like, I can't like, obviously I want to acknowledge these things as influences, but I definitely don't want to be like, and I'm just like those guys, because that's incredibly egotistical. Also, there's a second question here asking why Dino can grow. There's a lore reason, there's a world building reason. I'll get around to it. I'll talk about the power system and magic system a little bit in a second, but not in great detail because I want to show it off in the world first. As for other inspirations, I'm just going to like throw these images up on screen and then I'm not going to elaborate at all, even a little bit, maybe one day, but this Q&A is going to take so long and I'm doing this on my lunch break. Thank you so much. What good questions. Thanks for being here. Wow, thanks for caring about my cartoon. Amazing. We got some people asking how my dang silly boys wound up meeting one another. I'll never tell. I'll show eventually. Yeah, I would really prefer that you see that in the context of the cartoon, but I'll get around to showing it, and I really appreciate you asking. The most I can say is that Monkey falls on them. And then we also have this person asking why they choose to do side quests. They all have kind of different reasons for working the job that they work, and I'm gonna put terms to it in a second, but for now, Dino is doing it. Dino's kind of like politically obligated to be doing this work, and Monkey is doing it for the glory and because he wants to get stronger, and Cloud is in it because it's a good hang. Cloud just thinks it's entertaining. So that's why they're doing it. Ooh, here's a big one. Here's a huge question. What are my professional plans? There's a couple different questions just asking what my plans are for the show. If I'm thinking of doing indie or industry, if it's pirates or marines, baby, it's probably right now it's pirates. I wanna do it indie. Also, again, I'm gonna like caveat, it's very conceited of me to even be like humoring this question. But like, this is the thing that I want to be doing, so I'm just gonna like choose to answer these questions, these very sweet and flattering questions, as if it's like a real thing, because I want it to be a real thing. Yeah, the industry is really scary right now. I think it's like, it's scary even at the best of times, but it's really scary right now. And like, if I were to try and make a broadcast television series based off of this like relationship that I have with my closest friends, it's a little bit like I'm like throwing the three of us into a rock tumbler and trying to commodify it. And like, admittedly, that's kind of eventually my goal, but it would be really stressful to like immediately go from being like not responsible even for my own livelihood to suddenly responsible for the livelihoods of like 50 people working on this show. Like, I think I could do it eventually, but I think that there's an opportunity to like build it up gradually, independently. Right now, my dream is to just keep doing this on the side while I work a job until I can eventually support myself and like just myself. And then if that goes well, bringing on more and more of my friends and like giving them part-time work. And eventually I'm gonna throw them in my basement. I'm gonna lock them in my basement. I'm gonna buy them really soft couches and tablets, and then we'll just have like a cool sort of like indie pirate ship studio where we can make the cartoon together and live out our dreams. That's the dream. But yeah, broadly, I would like to eventually have there be like, you know, an overarching story and like some structure that resembles seasons and narrative arcs and whatnot. I have big plans, big ambitions. We got some people asking if there's anywhere for donations. We do have like a Patreon account. We got a little wishing well out there in a grove if you're so inclined to toss a coin in there. There's some people are already like giving to Patreon, and this is kind of why I felt obligated to like show up on camera and like thank you and also communicate what I want and what I can do right now, because otherwise I feel like I'm just like taking money and I'm like freaking like a mystery figure. Right now everything that I put on Patreon, like, you know, in progress stuff and concept sketches, it's all just up there for free because it's not my job, and if someone wants to see it, I just want them to be able to see it. I'm gonna just rapid fire the next like 20 questions because we've got so many more questions. I've been talking for like an hour. My lunch break is totally over. Here we got a question asking where their powers come from and if it's from their respective species or if it's sort of like a D&D class system, and also asking what some other power sets are that we might see in the future. I'm not gonna tell you. I want it to be a surprise. But to the other 2 points about like, you know, where they come from, the power systems, if it's like to their respective species, it's a little bit, it is similar to like a D&D class system. Yeah, it's like sort of like a nature versus nurture thing. Like Dino is naturally predisposed to being really good at like strength and size modification, and Cloud is like ridiculously gifted in like almost every different kind of magic. And then Monkey kind of sucks. Monkey is pretty, like, he can kind of just punch. I know that he punched Schnozdor really hard in the last short. It wasn't actually that hard. I mean, there was a big flashy explosion, but Schnozdor was fine, and that, like, kind of put Monkey on the brink of death. That's, like, as hard as he can go, and that was, you know, it almost cost him his life. But yeah, I'm going to get more into the power system and how it works specifically in the text in the future. Just know that I like thinking about it. Thank you for asking about my magic system. Next question. Is there anything going on between Cloud and Dino, or are they all just really good, cool, close, cool friends? Great question. They aren't kissing. They're just very affectionate friends. They're roommates. And they were roommates. I think if there was a situation where any one of them had a curse laid upon them, and it could only be broken by true love's kiss, either of the other two could break the curse, like no problem. If I made some baked goods, what would each of them want, and who would intimidate me into only making what they wanted? Great question. Dino would want like probably like something with hazelnut or like a mint chocolate chip thing. Monkey would want something with coffee, and Cloud would want like a tomato rosemary focaccia, I think. Why do I keep saying I think? I'm the guy, I know this. Would any of them intimidate you into getting what they wanted? Monkey's pretty, he's quick to violence, but he doesn't punch like, you know, defenseless, like, citizens, good Samaritans who just are trying to bake things, but he might like do like the, like, we got this person asking if we can have full character sheets and information, and then also asking what their frozen yogurt order would be. Can I recycle the previous question for the froyo? I guess there isn't a focaccia flavored froyo. Cloud would get something that's like caramel sea salt or like pistachio, but Monkey's still coffee and Dino's still mint chocolate chip. And I'm scared of yogurt. I think it smells weird, and I know that frozen yogurt's different, but it's irrational and I've never gotten over it. And then can we have full character sheets and information? When I make them, I'll definitely at some point need to make character sheets to communicate the designs to other people when I have other people working on the show with me, more so than, you know, my roommates already are. My roommates have helped like clean up and color a lot of the animation thus far. But yeah, I don't actually have character sheets yet. The designs have actually kind of changed enough between shorts that I still haven't really felt like I've 100% like dialed them in. But one day, and I super appreciate you asking. That's really sweet. We got this guy, Peanut, asking, Cloud owes me $20. Can you tell him he needs to pay me back? Man, like, yeah, like, it's just, this feels like it's like kind of between you and him, right? What you should do is you should You know what really got his attention is you should Venmo him $20 and tell him in the Venmo, give me my $20 back, and he'll totally do it. Ask him yourself, you little weirdo. We got this guy asking Dino Monkey or Cloud Monkey. Oh, that's really sweet. They say it's become a huge inspiration. Thank you so much. What if Dino decided to shrink to a small size and do stuff like living in a Lincoln log house or exploring an ant farm? Amazing question. Amazing question. Yeah, my friend Bo, I keep introducing my friends over and over. Bo actually does have a burning passion for, I shouldn't say that. He paints miniatures already. I definitely have plans to at some point show off Dino's like his ability to shrink real small, and he does have a passion for miniatures and like miniature landscapes, and I'll show it at some point when I get around to it. But for now, I'll just let you know. Good call, and yeah, he will. He'll do it. Next question. They were asking about the lore of the series. Hopefully I answered that a little bit earlier. I also mentioned a character named Early who gives them jobs. Will we see Early at some point? That's so kind of you to remember. I think my elbow cracked and maybe popped into the... Well, worry about it. Yeah, we'll see Early at some point. They are super important to the story. I have a lot of characters that I really love and want to introduce sooner, but I'm trying to like very naturally build into it, but it just takes a little while. Next question. Was that bit about Monkey abandoning his royal responsibilities canon to the lore, or just a gag for the episode? A couple different people got confused by this, and this was poor visual storytelling on my part. When Dino in the Smiling Friends parody short says...
Literally ran away from home to avoid doing that.
He's pointing to Monkey, not to say Monkey abandoned his royal responsibilities, but instead he's saying, I've literally run away from home to avoid assuming the dormant throne. But like he should have like pointed his finger and then like turned his thumb back to him or something for the sake of clarity. I apologize for that. Monkey comes from nothing, and Dino comes from Hollow Earth royalty. And we'll talk about it later. We got this guy very kindly asking, do y'all make all your music in-house? The song at the end of the last one was made by two of my friends, Parth Tunes and Clack, or Claire Lacombe. Incredibly talented musicians. I'm not that good yet. We have made some music for the show, and me and Owen and Bo all play in a band together. But yeah, we have the theme song. I should put the theme song on Patreon now that I'm thinking about it. And I play drums on the theme song. That's kind of something. Great question. Thank you for asking about my music, the music in the show. I really appreciate it. You should listen to Maturity. Stream it wherever you do that. We got this person asking, how would you feel if people made OCs based off your work? So flattered! Enormously flattered. But yeah, please. And then send them to me if you want. I'd love to see that. Last question. If Dino, Monkey, and Cloud were Pokemon starters, who would you pick? It's Monkey, baby! It's every time it's Monkey, every opportunity. If they were starters, well, okay, Dino, tragically, I know he's green, but he's not a grass type. Dino is a dragon and ground type Pokemon. And then Monkey, the first of his kind. It's firefighting, you guys. Whoa, revolutionary. And then Cloud would be water and flying type Pokemon. And you might be like, but Aiden, if Cloud's water and flying, then he's going to be 4 times weak to electric type moves. And he uses electric type moves all the time. And that feels kind of strange. Well, guess what, baby? He's going to have like the good version of the lightning rod ability. So every time he gets hit with an electric type attack, it'll just raise his special attack, and he's unstoppable. He's just like a 600 base stat total. Cloud's a god. Both Cloud and Dino are kind of gods, and Monkey's Monkey. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's all the questions that I had to answer. Hopefully, when I edit this, this is not incredibly long. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry for my manic state. Sorry for the way that I am and look and talk and sound, and it won't happen again. It won't happen again. You have to believe me. I'm gonna go back into my cave and make the cartoon. Bye, everybody. Thank you for actually, you know what? Let me show you my dogs. I'm gonna go show you my dogs. Whoa. My roommates don't want to be on camera, but you don't have any sense of privacy, do you, Lily? You're being so sweet. This is Lily, short for Lilith, She's usually not this sweet, but right now she is quite sleepy. Here, let me show you the mama. Mama. Oh, mama. Hi, Sweet Pea. Hi, Sweet Pea. And this is Lily's mama. Her name is Sweet Pea. She is so beautiful. And no one knows how old she is. And she just kind of like trundled into our doorway one day. Thanks for watching me talk about the cartoon, you guys. I hope you have a good day. Goodbye.